What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys enjoyed the video today. Today, we're going to talk about the bombshell news that hit us last night. Kevin Walters will not be the coach of the Brisbane Broncos in 2025. So we're going to go through my thoughts overall, good, bad, whether I agree with it or not. And also, I want to see what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. And also, we'll throw up a couple of names that could take out the role in 2025. So guys, if you enjoyed the content, make sure you like and subscribe. And let's get straight into it because this is massive news. And I really do want to talk about it and really want to get your thoughts overall on what the situation is with the Brisbane Broncos. So first of all, Kevin Walters, 4-year head coach of the Brisbane Broncos, 2021, 22, 23, and 24. Overall win percentage of 50.50%, winning 50 games and losing 49. So close to a just 50% win percentage overall with the Brisbane Broncos. 2021, the first season he had with the club, taking over Seabold's position, taking over the mess that was the Brisbane Broncos that year. 7 wins and 17 losses, a major L that season, but a lot of people don't put that on Kevin Walters, and it sucks to have that on his record. But since then, hadn't been too bad up towards the 2024 season. So 2022, they showed a little bit of fight. We do remember the Brisbane Broncos getting into that top 4 race, looking at one of the best teams in competition. They led the competition for a decent period. And then the capitulation that happened later on that season after the origin period to fall them out of the 8th position, finishing that year with 13 wins, 11 losses, just missing out on the top 8 there. And if they had that same win record this year, they would have been a top 8 side. Obviously, the dream year of 2023, the year that ended up raising the standards of the Brisbane Broncos, the side that we saw. I think there's always been standards with the Broncos, but this was the year that we're all like, okay, now we're in a new era. Now it's going to be the Broncos versus the Penrith Panthers and whoever else fills in there. And remembering that season, obviously, we were in the top 4 race with the Melbourne Storm, but we were so far behind those top 2 teams, and they were absolutely incredible. And obviously, the Penrith Panthers end up getting it done, only just due to obviously Nathan Cleary and the amazing moments that the Penrith Panthers do always bring in the grand final time. The Broncos would be kicking themselves there, and whether Kevy would have won that, probably would have gave him a lot more time. But obviously, it wasn't able to be, and that's why it does feel a little bit premature, this decision here. But looking at that 2024 season, definitely a failure. 10 and 14 at 41% win percentage that season. And the excuses that came out of the season obviously was due to the injuries of their key members. Reece Walsh had a couple of big injuries this season. Adam Reynolds had a lot of time off this season as well due to injury. Ezra Mam, had some time off this season as well, and also dealt with a couple of things this season. Your Selwyn Cobbos of the world has the news cycle around him with certain other situations as well. I don't really want to touch on too much. A lot of questions being put on a lot of different players, a lot of different situations, which ended up being a lot of questions being put on Kevin Walters, and that's where we sit here. Obviously, the first news story was that Kevin Walters got sacked, but the NRL.com came out and said that it had been a mutual part in ways, or actually Kevin walking out on the club. I probably put more food into that sort of thought due to just seeing how Kevin was taking the role this season. It did look like that he was feeling the pressure of being the Brisbane Broncos head coach, and also the media cycle that was around him. Like, we do remember Billy Walters was a part of Triple M for a couple of for this season, talking about the rugby league and stuff like that. And he ended up quitting due to, the amount of chat that was going on around about Kevy. He ended up stepping away from that gig. And we remember Kevy in multiple different press conferences coming out, and just like, it looked like it was showing on him. And I felt sorry for him at the end of the day when you see such a champion player go through a situation like that. But also, you're the coach of the Brisbane Broncos. You got to understand that's what's going to come with it. And it's really tough to fill out the shoes of what Wayne Bennett laid in past years. We've seen it with so many other coaches, the Griffins, Ivan Henjaxes, Seabolds, all these coaches were unable to do what obviously Wayne Bennett is just doing again and again and again. And Kevy is just another name to put in that list. Do I agree with this one? I don't know. I think it's premature. I think I just touched on that just before. I do think it's a little bit premature. I would have loved to see Kevy get the first quarter of the season, or maybe up to maybe the origin period, just to see if the performances were, getting back up to standard, whether the injuries were really the reason to this. But also, I'm conflicting myself because I don't think that I've always had questions on Kevin Walters. When I look at Kevin Walters, I think he's a really good person at getting players up for the game. I feel like he's good at bringing energy. But when I look at systemized and game plans, I just don't see it out of Kevin Walters as a head coach. And the examples I'll give to that is I feel like when we'll bring up the Penrith Panthers, the Melbourne Storm, these systems build the players, where I really do feel like the Brisbane Broncos had just been flushed with a whole lot of crazy individual talents that carried them to the position they were. And when you take those out of the lineup, that's when you see the real game plan behind it. And I don't think the game plan holds up just at the moment without those superstars in the lineup. You look at the Brisbane Broncos, I feel it's relied upon their individual talent to drag them to where they are. And it's not more so on the game plan, right? And that's always been my question with Kevy. And that's why I always feel like it would have come a point that I think they had to step up in that position. But the reason why I say it's a little bit premature is you look at the market at the moment for coaches and I just don't see it. Like, I don't see anyone in the market that could take the next step with the Brisbane Broncos. Like, you got no Craig Bellamy's on the market. You got no Wayne Bennett's on the market. You got no Ivan Cleary's. You got no Trent Robinson's. You got no, like, all these big key major coaches. And then the step down of that, Webby as well. Like, I think Webby's got a future as a head coach. I feel like he would do amazing with the Brisbane Broncos. I'm like, you know, again, like, I know we had a poor season as well, but I believe he's a really good systematic head coach. You look at obviously Serraldo, the systems he's put into place with the Dogs. I don't see anyone like that in the competition. We might see someone when we go through the list of what Fox League put out there. But again, like, I don't know if this was the right decision at this right moment. But for the mental state of Kevy Walters, is probably the best decision for Kevy Walters in general. So that's the way I'll look at it. Broncos fans, I understand that you had a poor season. I don't know who's going to get you out of the mud, but I just know that for Kevy in himself, I think it's probably a really good time for Kevy probably to move away. And you know, you just saw moments last year where I felt so bad for Kevy. You had obviously his close mates that in big media roles come out and try to defend Kevy. And it just shows that the pressure was really getting to him, getting to his family. And I really do think that Kevy, you know, I don't want his overall aura, his overall, you know, place in the game not get ruined by, you know, obviously the big media cycle around the Brisbane Broncos. So now moving over to some of the coaches that could come over to the Brisbane Broncos and hopefully take them to the promised land, as all Broncos fans really want them to do. These are some of the names that Fox League have brought up that I like. Some of them I definitely don't agree with, but some of them I feel like there's some food for thought here and maybe they could be the option for the future. Will they be better than Kevy? A lot of these guys, as I said before, guys, I don't think they have the track record to say they will be better than Kevy, but there's a couple of like interesting, you know, coaches here that I could see and go, maybe they could be a really good future play and probably have a little bit more depth in certain roles than probably what Kevy did have at the Broncos. So the list that they have here, Trent Barrett is the first name on the list. I wouldn't touch Trent Barrett. Like, you know, obviously he's been burnt by the two other jobs that he's had in the past, 32% win percentage with obviously the Manly Seagulls and the Dogs. 14% win percentage with the Dogs in that last year for him. Yeah, I couldn't touch him. I just can't see Trent Barrett being the head coach of the Brisbane Broncos, in my opinion. The next name they have is Brad Arthur. From memory, he went overseas, so I don't think he will be coming back to the NRL for the Broncos coaching gig. Good head coach, I do believe. I enjoyed Brad Arthur at the Parramatta Eels and does a lot of good things in his his junior systems and stuff, bringing up a lot of great players and also turned around a lot of players' careers like edge back rollers. He's really good at that. But again, like him moving overseas, I don't see this happening, but definitely a name to throw up there. Josh Hannay is someone that actually perks my interest a little bit. Obviously, the Queensland assistant coach under Billy Slater. Heard a lot of good things about him. Obviously, he's had an interim coach with the Cronulla Sharks. I don't remember that going, I remember it was a poor period for the Sharkies, but I don't remember it being like a complete capitulation. And there's been a lot of good signs, like a lot of good rumors around Josh Hannay and getting big roles left, right, and center. So is that an option? Yes. Would it be better than Kevy? Unsure. And this is what happens. Like, these are rookie head coaches here, very similar to what we went with the Warriors. Obviously, Cam Serraldo, Todd Payton's when they first stepped in. They could shoot up and they could have an amazing first year or so, or they could fall flat in their face like a Trent Barrett end up doing and stuff like that. So it's very high risk, high reward. Could be a go here. Let us know, Broncos fans. Does Josh Hannay perk your interest? I'm not too sure. He kind of, out of all these other names, probably is one of my top people in this position, but this is a situation you found yourself in with sacking, obviously, Kevy Walters or whatever the situation ended up being. Michael Maguire is another one they brought up here. I don't see him losing the New South Wales gig. I don't see him leaving it at all. I believe winning that, obviously getting all of the shine off that as well, being the man that, you know, obviously beat Queensland. And I believe that you'd rather stay in that than go to the Brisbane Broncos for 27 rounds and get, you know, questioned by the Queensland media every week. Like I believe that he's in a really good position now with the Blues, and obviously winning last year, I'm sure he wants to go around again and again and again to see how many, if he can really add to the credentials of Madge Maguire. I can't see him as a Broncos head coach, but the way he plays his football probably could do wonders with the Brisbane Broncos, give him a little bit of a harder edge. I would love to see that, but I just don't see him leaving the New South Wales Blues. Billy Slater, I throw up in that exact same conversation. I can't see him leaving Queensland, especially losing to New South Wales this year. I think he's competitive enough to want to go back again and beat the New South Wales Blues. I just can't see him leaving that and going to the Brisbane Broncos job, in my opinion. Jason Demetriou, I'm pretty sure, obviously, he got a coaching role with PNG Kummels. I'm pretty sure that's the case there. I can't see him moving away from that either, and I don't really see the Broncos looking down that way either, just due to the way the Rabbitohs situation really went. Would he be a good head coach for the Broncos? I would say he'd be very similar to an Ivan Henjak, an Anthony Seibold type. But I just can't see him being the one to take him to the next level, in my opinion. And to be honest, I don't see many, if any, of all these names to be able to do that. Justin Holbrook, this one I believe could make sense. Obviously a very good attacking mind, an attacking head coach. The Gold Coast Titans know about him. Whether the Gold Coast Titans thing kind of plays in a lot of people's minds, the way that situation went, whether that was more so the Titans than it was Justin Holbrook, but you would say that he was the one steering the ship. So yes, again, an amazing attacking unit the Brisbane Broncos are. This would help that side of things, but defense is probably where they lack. And would that just build more inconsistency? Maybe. But definitely could be an option. 48-year-old head coach. Maybe he's learned a little bit more in being assistant to Trent Robinson with the Roosters and that. I don't know, but definitely could be a main candidate here out of a lot of other names. I have him over, obviously, Madge and all that sort of stuff. Peter Wallace is someone that interests me a little bit. Obviously, being a Bronco in the past, he understands the media. He understands the situation there. Obviously, been in the Panther system as well. Done a lot of good things. I'm sure he's learned from a lot of those situations too. So this could be one of those rookie head coaches that you can get and can really boom you. Very smart mind. He's been in the modern side of rugby league, not so much the older head coaches that I believe that we are starting to get into a newer era head coach that, understands the game a little bit more, their defensive systems and stuff like that. Peter Wallace could do well, so he's definitely a name that I've kind of if I was a Broncos fan, I'll be yeah, maybe. Brad Thorne has been thrown around. Obviously, was at the Brisbane Broncos back in the day, a legend of an athlete, an incredible athlete. If you don't know about Brad Thorne, guys, go check out the accolades of this man. He's an absolute freak. Was the Queensland Reds head coach. Do I see him coming to rugby league in that? Maybe, but I don't know if the Broncos will swing this way. I just don't know. I'd see a super rugby head coach, and I'm just I want to see a guy that can build a system and build something to play off the back of, where I feel like players like Peter Wallace could do so more so. I don't know whether that's just a halfback, talking to me, Peter Wallace being a halfback, Brad Thorne being a wide edge running forward or a middle forward. I don't know. I really don't know. The Walker brothers. This one gets thrown up so many times, but one time it would make a complete sense for me would be the Brisbane Broncos. Do I have them on top of my sheet here? No, maybe. They're up there. I think the main sway to the Walker brothers is, number one, we did talk about Justin Holbrook. Their attacking style of football probably would be amazing to pair up with the Brisbane Broncos, but I think the main play here is Sam Walker. And if they were to get the Walker brothers as the head coach, does that make them a little bit of a prime candidate to bring over Sam Walker and take him away from the clutches of the Roosters, right? Does that play a factor? Sort of what Ivan did with Nathan Cleary and moved over to the Panthers. They're doing the opposite, bringing over Sam Walker from obviously the Roosters. So that's an interesting play. That's the only reason why that perks my interest. I used to love watching those old school, I think it was the Jet sides that they used to coach under. Very, very high risk, high reward type of sides. Do the Broncos fans want to be again, they can bring inconsistency as well. And defense is definitely an issue overall. But also, who knows? They could spark something special. Their attack could be some of the best attack we've ever seen. But I've always been a big belief that attacking sides just don't win like there's only been so few attacking sides that are incredible attacking wise that have won in the competition. I just think everything is built off defense. And I think that's the thing that Broncos lack this year. And consistency is built off defense, where I think inconsistency is built off attack. You look at sides like the Gold Coast Titans that have struggled in the past. A lot of their sides have been predicated on attacking. And that's why I thought Des Hasler was going to be a big part to him, which hadn't been this year. But like, you know, the only sides I've really thought about that attacking wise were absolutely incredible that took out the premiership that weren't built off defense was mainly that West Tiger side 2005, which end up looking like a variable as well. I think they were the last side outside of the top 4 to win a premiership as well. So I don't know. Like for me, these names always get brought up. The Walker brothers always get brought up for coaching gigs. Why they haven't got one? Maybe there's food for that thought. You know, why they haven't got a coaching gig or a Q Cup at the moment? That's also food for thought. Like, what's going on there? Are they available? But I do love the option of obviously winning over Sam Walker with family. Like that could be an option. So comment down below your thoughts overall, guys. All Broncos fans out there, hope you guys enjoyed the video and make sure, give you your thoughts on Kevin Walters. Like, hopefully Kevin Walters is doing well mentally. Obviously, it takes a toll being a head coach in the competition, but also being a head coach of one of the biggest clubs in the competition. And obviously, with the superstars they got now, the standard that's been bestowed upon them, they need someone that can go in there and take that role and really take it to a new level. And, you know, shout out to Kevy. I feel like he's done an amazing job with the Broncos to get him to this point here. But this could be an option for the Broncos to take the next step, or it could be the opposite. It could be the one that actually falter them a little bit, and maybe we could look at Kevin Walters a little bit of like a better light, you know, look at what he done with the roster that they had, with the egos maybe in the roster. I'm not too sure. So comment down below your thoughts overall. Make sure you like and subscribe for any more content in the future, guys. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend. Peace out.